Rainbow, and today we're going to do a long 10-minute video going over drop and leave it. Now I hear that he's been getting a little mouthy at home and his sharp puppy teeth is making it a problem. And so drop it and leave it are two ways to help discourage or completely avoid him getting too mouthy, either with you and your hands or with other belongings. I'm also going to go over some ways to correct his mouthiness and try to teach good habits now. It's totally natural for puppies to do that, but we don't want to make it a habit with him, so it's really good that you're taking the steps now to correct it. Good boy. All right, he is tired from a day of play, but I think he'll do really well. First of all, we're going to go over drop it. Now, drop it is when he has something in his mouth that you don't want him to have because it's valuable to you, dangerous to him, or you just don't want it destroyed by a curious puppy. Now, when we use leave it is before he picks it up. So leave it is don't even touch it at all. If you aren't watching him and aren't able to tell him leave it, drop it is to get him to release it from his mouth, whether it's you or an object. So we're going to go over the drop it first. And with drop it, always have your treats ready while you're teaching him because you're going to do it like a train. You're going to hold the treat up to his mouth and tell him drop it, and you're going to give him the treat and take what was ever in his mouth. If you just try to grab it from him, it's probably going to seem like a game of tug-of-war to him, so he's just going to pull back harder and chomp down harder as well. And so when you offer him the treat, it's like a trade. So I have a couple things over here that he might be interested in. Rainbow. Big toys might seem a little too big for him, but I'll try to play with him with it, see if he gets interested. Now, I use this for a lot of training, so it has a lot of different dog smells on it, which he's probably more distracted by right now. So let's see if we can get him interested in the ball. There you go. Come here. Come here. Get that ball. Get it. All right. Looks like he doesn't want to actually pick it up. Let's see. Hang on. Come here. I'm just a rag here. Rainbow. Get it, get it, get it. Get it, get it. Get it, get it. All right. Almost. Rainbow. Just getting so distracted. Come here. Rainbow. Uh-oh. He smells my treat bag. A flaw in the plan. Come here. All right. So I can't get him to actually hold something in his mouth to perfectly demonstrate the drop it to you. But since he's not playing with this and going for a treat by instead, that is actually a good sign. It shows that he's very food motivated, and a food motivated dog is super easy to train. So that's good. You definitely want to take advantage of that. I'll try to show you what I mean with the drop it. So I have a treat in my hand, and we're going to have to do a little pretend since Rainbow won't actually pick this up. Rainbow, come here. But say he has this, come here. Oh, he knows where the treat is. You smell this? Good boy. Okay. Say he has this in his mouth like this. I'll hold the treat if he drop it. And the idea is he will open his mouth, turn his head to the treat, and accept that instead of hanging on to this or even to you. If he is chewing on you, it's good to practice drop it so that you can just tell him drop it so that he stops chewing on you or kind of mouthing you. It's not aggressive, but he can hurt you because He doesn't know how sharp his teeth are. So it's good to practice this drop it so that you can tell him, because you don't want to always give him a treat when he bites you. You want to be clear about the command so that he knows the difference. So he doesn't think, I want a snack, I'm going to go chew on mom. He understands that you gave him the drop it command. He's supposed to spit out whatever is in his mouth, and he gets rewarded for that, and he gets a treat for doing that. Good boy. So, try to demonstrate again. If he has something in his mouth, hold the treat over here, say drop it. Oh, I tried to split the treat to show you. But hold it to the side, and once he smells the treat, bring it over so that he drops it, and you bring his head over and you can pick it up without him going for it again. And while he's eating the treat, you'll be able to get that here. Good boy. Remember, when you use your drop it, when he does it while he's eating the treat, say, good drop it. Good drop it, Rainbow. That will help him realize that what the drop it command entails. It helps reiterate that and kind of cement that into his head. So, if there is something at home that he likes to chew on, pick up, carry around, or if you're teaching him fetch and he doesn't want to let go of something, use the treat off to the side, tell him to drop it, and practice that. Spend 5 minutes here and there just practicing drop it, and giving him the treats. Then, after that, you can work up to telling him drop it and giving him a treat every other time once he starts to learn the command. Then it will be easier. If he is getting too mouthy for you, just tell him drop it, and you won't have to give him a treat every time. You need to be careful not to reinforce his behavior of biting. So, now, before drop it, there's also leave it. And with leave it, you use that for things that he is not supposed to touch and he's not ever supposed to touch. So, I know Mirko was telling you this morning about the difference between stay and wait. We use wait as when they sit and wait for something. Like, if you tell him to sit and wait, you step away, put his bowl of food down, then tell him okay, he can run to it. You don't want to tell him to wait and then tell him to leave his food, because eventually you are going to give him his food. We don't want that connotation brought into leave it, because leave it means don't touch it and don't ever touch it. So, for example, I have one of my shoes here. I don't want him to chew on it, and I don't want him to ever chew on it, or any shoe, for that matter. So, I'm going to set that over there. I'm going to lead him up to it, and when we get up, I'm going to get down to his level. I'm going to wave my hand in front of it and say, leave it. By waving my hand in front of his nose and between his nose and the shoe, kind of breaks it up, it catches his attention, and I'll hold his leash somewhat snug so that he can't go forward and get that shoe. If he does try to, I'm going to use the no noise, the and get his attention and pull him back. When he stops doing that, I'm going to give him a treat and tell him good, leave it. Again, with this, lots of practice will help him understand that when he stops showing interest in the shoe, or whatever it is I don't want him to touch, with the leave it, he gets a treat. So, saw me getting the treat back. Walk up to the shoe. Leave it. Good, leave it. Good, leave it, Rainbow. Good boy. Good boy. All right, that looks great. He wasn't super focused on the shoe, but you can see I got down there, was able to wave my hand in front, say leave it, and that caught his attention, and he looked up to me and waited for further instruction. So that's excellent, and that is when I gave him the treat. So we'll try this again. Leave it. Good, leave it. Good, leave it, Rainbow. Good boy. All right, let me see something else here that I can use for a leave it. Now I have just one of our a whiteboard erasers here. I'm going to toss this down, have a treat ready, and tell him to leave it. I want it to look tempting for him. Leave it. Leave it. Good, leave it. Good, leave it, Rainbow. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. All right. So that's just a couple of demonstrations of how to teach leave it. He is pretty distracted here. So practice this at home with a few different things and whatever you don't want him to touch. Use something else. Don't use your drop it practice. Don't use the same items for your drop it practice as you use for the leave it practice, because you don't want him to get those two confused or to think that if you leave something now, he can get it later. And once he learns those commands well, I think it will help to tell him to drop it if he does start mouthing you. Another way that would be good to correct him, if he is mouthing you, use a technique that we use here, and it's also what Cesar Millan teaches. Take a flat hand, just like this, and use your fingertips, and just poke him in his side. This area here is called a tuck up, right on his flank. If you poke there, it gets his attention without hurting him, and it will kind of distract him and give him that correction. So you can, if he's biting loose, give a no noise or say no, tell him drop it, and just give a quick poke like that. And it will hopefully get his attention. Also, another thing that we use here that you can use to correct him and keep him from doing it, which he is very responsive to, is just a simple squirt bottle. You don't have to have one this big. You can have smaller ones around the house that are easier. So if he does something you don't want him to do, it provides immediate correction. And I'm not going to squirt him now because he's not doing anything. It doesn't hurt him at all, but I've seen out there that he does respond well to it. So I think that it could be really good for you to use. And also, just with him mouthing you, or also just getting into things that puppies get into, if you don't want to always be telling no, 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 getting on his case like that, the squirt bottle is a good way. It distracts him, it corrects him, and it's not as personal. He doesn't necessarily associate it as coming directly from you. He just sees it as there's something he's not supposed to be doing, and he gets a squirt randomly, and he is corrected and not doing that anymore, instead of realizing that mom or dad come up and they're going to, give me a poke to the side or tell me no or take me away from it. So it kind of helps that a little bit too. So hopefully these tips help you at home. Remember, take time out to specifically practice the drop it and leave it command before you can expect him to do it every time. This was Rachel and Rainbow, and we were reviewing drop it and leave it.